Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, AD Arnell, and my man, Jay Lou. G. Witt, what's going on, fellas?
Yes,
Tighten
sir.
up.
Tighten up,
baby.
Tighten up.
Tighten up. Another week with the two-tone blue, man. It's just, and it don't get any easier, does it, fellas? I mean, think about this stretch of games we've had ever since the Jets game. We've had the Bills, we've had the Chiefs, we've had the Colts, we've had the Rams, and now we go against the Saints with the number one rush defense in the NFL without King Henry. So, we talked about this a few weeks ago, this 5-game gauntlet, if you will, in which the Titans would have faced 5 straight playoff teams from 2020, including the AFC Championship game opponents, the Bills and the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So far, and who would have thought that we would have had to do the last half of it without Derrick Henry or Julio Jones, right? Or David Long today, for that matter. And so, right, we get our one of our best corners, if not the best corner on the team, back today, Christian Fulton. So we finally were able to see him with this defense. And we talked about it last week that this team, before they played the Rams, that they were going to have a respectable run game in order for them to succeed. And the question was going to be, could they do that against this Saints defense? Now, we saw what happened last week. It was, 60-some yards. It was ugly. It was grimy. The defense really cared today. And so today you wanted to see if AP of anybody could have a better game too, because we know he had some rust, right? He had to get that rust off. He hadn't played no preseason, no nothing for a while. Results, Titans 23, Saints 21. And I will say this, that they escaped with this one because they got very lucky. And Jay Lil, I'm going to start with you first this week, man. First reactions on this Titans victory over the Saints.
Yeah, man, I think this is kudos to Mike Vrabel. I don't think that he gets enough love for the coaching job he's doing, man. Mm-hmm. This is one of them games where, it's not a trap game when you got the Saints as a good team, but, missing Alvin Kamara and what they're coming in with. And you just think about, mentally, how mentally fatigued are you after you just went through a gauntlet. I mean, the SEC goes through gauntlets every week in college football for the most part. Right. You don't see too many of them like this, even though it's an NFL game. You don't see too many of them like this when you see the NFL schedule. So, to come off back-to-back road victories, one being a division opponent, one being the Rams. How could this team muster up? And man, again, I think why I give the credit to Vrabel is just that next man up mentality. You see Marcus Johnson, who was the star doing training camp, right. 5 for 100 today. And I mean, he led the team in targets, not only receptions, but targets.
That, right?
Who would have thought that? I mean, we put Julio on IR this week, and you're like, oh God, who's going to be the next man up for that wide receiver to give AJ? And again, AJ's got to, I don't know what's in his head. I think he's in his own head too much. Mm-hmm. He's starting to have the dropsies again. But you like to see that the wide receivers picking it up. And then, again, that next man mentality, we're missing Evans and we're missing David Long. What did Monty Rice do? Just lead the team in tackles today.
That's right. 11 tackles.
11 tackles. So, I mean, I think him and Jayon did good. You see why Fulton, I don't think Fulton lost a step. He proves why he is QB1 on this team. I think the second half, to your point about escaping, they held on, because I really think that the second half you started to see the gauntlet wear on them. The pass rush wasn't getting there because the guys was just tired.
Right.
It ain't like they were trying. I think they was just tired.
Danico had his hands on his hips a lot.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Landry came out a lot that second half. So kudos again to just the overall head coaching job to get this team mentally and physically prepared week in and week out to go just again stack up another win. So 8-2, first place in the AFC conference by 2 games. So you can ask for nothing better on a good day.
Yeah, G Witt. So me and G Witt sat together a game, and so we were talking back and forth. But G, give us your first reactions to this win today for the two-tone blue.
Oh, okay. Look. My bottom line is always, as an old school NFL fan, I'm always saying this. Any win in the NFL is a good win.
That's right.
Bottom line, it's a good win. But I will say this. Just looking overall, this offense has got to find a way to establish a decent running game. I'm not asking for anything spectacular, but they got to find a way to establish a decent running game. Now, granted, they went against the number 1 rush defense today. Mm-hmm. So you could easily see how that wasn't really going to be one of the big things that happened today. But at the same time, they have got to get that identity back as far as running the ball is concerned. It's putting way too much pressure on Tannehill, and AJ Brown is really, he's struggling right now. And I think he had, now they kept him in the game, but when he got tackled on that sideline going for that pass, I think he may have had a slight concussion because
he hit his head.
Yeah, he hit his head. Overall, I thought really the offensive line held up well. I mean, you know, some of the sacks that Tannehill took, I mean, they were just great plays. There's not a whole lot you could do about them.
Somebody got put on skates.
Well, I have to say that second one proves why Kendall Lamb need to be off the team tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
My Lord.
You know, but then again, let's be real about it. What have we always said about Kendall Lamb?
Run block.
Can't pass block.
Right.
Can't pass block.
So, you know, and again, like I said, overall, I just thought the offensive line did a pretty good job. Defensively, like I agree with you, J. Lou. I mean, they just got tired towards the end of the game. We had way too many 3-and-outs and couldn't sustain any drives for any length of time. Now, granted, some of the times we were hurting ourselves with penalties. Really, I know one thing about it. I know J. Rob is looking, and he's looking at Anthony Fursker saying we made a mistake. we made a mistake, you know, and we got to get through the season without, you know, living with that. But obviously, Anthony Fursker is not ready for the big time, because in these last few games when he should be the one shining, he's the one creating penalties. He's the one having to come out the game. He's really not doing a whole lot. So overall, I take it as a good win. I thought defensively we played okay. Christian Fulton's the QB1 because they rarely went to his side. You know, they attacked Jackson and they attacked Jackrabbit. They didn't really attack Christian Fulton at all. And Jackson, you know, he proved why he's a backup. he just absolutely proved why he's a backup, because bottom line is he was getting toasted on every kind of route you could think of.
Oh man.
And Jackrabbit really, he on that first touchdown, he just bit so hard on the end route, man. It was just pitiful. It was, and for a veteran who's been playing as long as he has, that was just surprising to see, especially since you had inside leverage in to begin with. So, but overall, like I said, it's a good win. It's a good win. We take them. And let's be real. We're 5-0 in the gauntlet, man.
Yeah. No doubt. So when we
were hoping to be 3-2.
Right. So all of the folks that are on tonight with us, and all three of us, raise your hand if you thought they'd be 5-0 through this stretch of games.
I'm not going to even raise
I don't know if anybody would have could have picked that. But like you said, a win is a win. I don't care how ugly it is. It was a win, and we'll take it. I want to get a few of the comments, and I'll give you my first reactions. We have a good depth of the defensive line. You know, Naquan Jones comes in and gets him a sack.
Played very good.
And played well today.
Yeah.
And so you like that, and you got to give let me see what Michael Pruitt. Yeah, I agree. Ed McKinney. He's got to be used more. And Dion says that Firkster, he's only a role player. That's it. And I agree with you. You know, think about Firkster's first couple years on this squad. You know, you had Jonnu, you had Delaney, you had guys that were taking the pressure off of him. He was just used in spot situations, right?
Yeah.
And he made the most of them. So now he's quote unquote the guy, and he's not producing. So, but anyway, here's my thoughts, guys. Like I agree with you, G. With offensive line, I thought they blocked fairly well today, other than the two bull rush sacks gave up by Lamb and Lewan. You know, me and G. Witt was looking at the game from up high, you know, different from your viewpoint, J. Lou. And there were some running lanes there that the running backs missed today.
AP missed several.
And I know you can see it on your side from the backside. And Deontay Foreman, he's got to get a little bit faster. You know, So who would have thought? I mean, I know Derrick Henry is a fast running back for his size, but who would have thought we'd have missed his quickness in the hole? You know what I mean? And I mean, it's really telling the difference between him and the guys that we have now. And I think they need to let Jeremy McNichols run the ball just a little bit more. You know, he's got a little bit more pep in his step than those two guys. Again, you know, we've got to have some respect to it, and right now it's not. And it's going to be tough to win with that running game. Right now we're getting by, and I'll take it. But, you know, once we get to the playoffs, it's going to be a different story. I thought the play calling was terrible today in crucial situations. You know, we get down to the 10-yard line, G. Witt, man, and then run what was the play? He ran a draw or something. I can't remember the sequence of plays, but he just wasted the field position down there on the north end zone. We had 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. He ended up
you talking? That's the drive when he ran the monster formation.
Yes,
out of Madden.
the monster formation. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, why did he run that? Then he throws the ball out to the side when you have one blocker versus 2 defenders.
Yes.
So waste of play call. I thought Shane Bowen lived with the 4 defensive linemen too long at times.
Yes.
Trevor Siemian had too much time to throw the ball. I mean, way too much time. With a struggling Chris Jackson out there, they were picking on him, and they should have, because he was terrible.
Yeah, his technique was horrible.
The defense got lucky today that Trevor Siemian is a bad quarterback, because there were people open. He made bad throws.
Yes.
But like you said, G Witt, a win is a win, ugly or not, we'll take it. And you guys mentioned AJ Brown. So the offense, G Witt, let me hear about your offensive assessment, because we talked about AJ. He only had 4 targets today. He had 1 catch. I don't think they used him enough, in my opinion. But what do you think as far as this offense today, what they put out there on the field?
Okay. Let me just say this. Offensively, I thought I agree with you. I thought the play calling was really suspect. And I thought Tannehill did a poor job of adjusting to what the defense was giving him. There were plenty of times he should have checked out of a run and went play action, and would have had somebody open across the middle, because the way they were playing, the defense, his favorite route, the slant route, was open for most of the game, and they didn't take full advantage of it. I thought, again, I'm not going to belabor the point of the running game. It is what it is. I mean, we missed Derrick Henry's quickness. We missed his long speed. I think on that play, like Dante Foreman had, Derrick Henry probably would have scored on that one. But, that just shows you how much you miss how dangerous of a running back Derrick Henry actually is. Receivers, I was disappointed in them. Not just AJ Brown, but I was also Westbrook-Ikhine. I was disappointed in him. Johnson was the only one who got free, but again, it wasn't enough. I thought Swain actually had a good game, and so did Michael Pruitt. First, man, I like I said, I don't know. Like I said, Jay Roberts regretting the decision to let Jonnu go. I'm pretty sure of that, because I mean, really, with a 3-headed monster at the tight end position, we're still not getting what we got out of Jonnu. There's not enough explosive plays out there. Brian Tannehill played okay. Man, it's just that offense right now it's stuck in the mud. It's really stuck in the mud. They have got to establish a running game somehow. They've got to. I mean, you got to keep that threat going, because I thought really that the offensive coordinator his name just went out of my head.
Todd Downing.
Todd Downing, thank you. I thought he went back to calling plays like he did at the beginning of the season. I really did. I'm like, dude, you're calling plays with no rhythm whatsoever. And it was really driving me crazy. And then on top of that, we were hurting ourselves with penalties. Yeah. I mean, and Ferska was guilty on a few of them. Like you said, the sacks they gave up, I mean, it was just bad plays by the offensive linemen, the tackles and everything. And I can't blame the Saints for thinking. We said Saints had a good defense, but offensively, we have got to step it up, because we weren't out of defense. That's what happened today. The defense got worn out, and there was nothing they could do. I mean, you get the ball in the second half on a fumble on a kickoff, you score. Kickoff, defense gets a 3 and out. You get a punt, fair catch it, then you get 15 extra yards because of a face mask, and you go 3 and out.
Go 3 and out.
You can't do that. You can't do that. You had to mount a drive there, because if you mount a drive there, even a field goal gives you some breathing room on defense. But that's the thing about it. Our offense is just too inconsistent right now, and it's frustrating. I came home, my wife asking me what's wrong with me. I'm like, I'm just tired and everything. But the game is just frustrating, man. I mean, you're just sitting there looking at it like you don't know if they're gonna do anything.
Right. So some of the comments continue with Deontay Foreman as RB1, let the O-line and Foreman get into more of the rhythm.
Agreed.
Yeah, run blocking wasn't. It was okay at best, but not dominating like it has been all season. And they agree that Michael Pruitt is the best tight end on the team, which we've been saying it the last few weeks. And so J. Lou, it's so without Julio for the next 3 weeks, the next 2 games rather than the bye week, and then we'll see if he comes back after that. Somebody else is gonna have to step up. We saw Marcus Johnson today. AJ Brown's gonna have to get his head back in the game. Westbrook or Keenan. What can we do, J. Lou? I mean, nobody's gonna respect that run game until they start making it effective.
Yeah, nobody's gonna respect it. I think the Titans just got to embrace what they really are, and that's a passing team. And the reason I say that is I think we got a pass to set up run. Reason I say that, and this is where that the identity of the team has changed, but the play calling hadn't changed.
Right.
Think about every red zone possession today. 90% of the calls to me were out of shotgun formation. Yeah. Even on the 3-yard line, they were all shotgun formation because you don't have Derrick Henry, and you're trying to utilize those receivers that I think we have a good receiving core. I think we talked about that during the offseason, that the depth of our receivers was probably going to be surprising. I mean, let's remember, Josh Reynolds originally came in here as a 2, and we cut him. He has to be released. He got gone. So I think the depth is there. So I think we're going to have to get a little bit more creative with some of the play calling to set up the pass. I don't think we did enough. We talked about the Saints front 7 is dominant. I don't think we did enough consistent screen game calling today. Like we did, to me, each screen that we threw was just, they knew it was coming, and it was terrible. The tight end screen was horrible. It was horrible. So I think we've got to switch to more. I like the short pass to set up. The short pass to me, if you're throwing the ball on first down, getting 4 or 5 yards, that's a run. So I think that's what we've got to do more of to get into a rhythm. I agree with the comment about, I think Foreman, AP is going to be decent, but let's just face it. Foreman knows this team. He ran with us last year. He's been in camp. He's been with us the last 2 years. I felt like, he does need to get a little faster, but I felt like he was hitting the hole a little bit better, and had the vision was a little bit there. So I think, it's hard to play. This isn't an offensive line that's built on playing running back by committee. It haven't been for 3 years. We've had the king. So now that you try to play running back by committee, you're taking me out after I get 2 good runs, and you put somebody else in, and it's just a difference. So they've got to go ahead.
No, I was just saying you just can't keep doing that.
Yeah, you can't.
If your running back's getting good runs, you got to keep them in there.
Yeah, you got to stay with the hot hand. So I think that's what we've got to do in order to solidify the run game. I completely agree. I don't think they're giving McNichols enough credit for what he's done. I'd like to see him get a few more touches behind that line. But again, O-line, I thought they did well outside of, like we said, Taylor. The Saints defensive coordinator did exactly what you're supposed to do. They best defender lined up on Lamb the very first play, and he bull rushed a tackle into a sack. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do, man. So as long as that O-line, I thought this was probably one of the, outside of those 2, I thought this was one of the better games we've seen the O-line play in a while. I mean, all of them came out of the game healthy. We had to start in 5. So, and again, I think Tannehill had the time there. It just, I wasn't too fond of the play calling. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with, we're trying to see a team this week. To me, this week is the game we missed Derrick Henry more than the Rams game.
Yeah.
And it just looked out of rhythm. So you hope that, you continue to put plans together. We got Houston next week, and then the Patriots, then a bye. You hope he can get some stuff together to be able to fit the pieces we got. Because again, I think we need to be more of a pass first team now to be able to set up the run.
And I'm going to say this real quick. You mentioned about the goal and being on the 3, and they line it up in shotgun. And see, to me that was making a mistake.
Yes.
I mean, because basically you're just telling every team you've given up on the run. To me, you line up under center. You got 3-4 yards to go. If you want to establish a running game, you got to trust your running backs in short yardage situation. And to me, AP is perfect for that.
Yes.
And because he knows how to hit the hole, he knows how to get low. And I think that when you get in those situations like that, quit trying to be fancy. Sometimes you just got to be mano a mano and go at the defense. You pass only when necessary. in that situation, because bottom line is the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they did on the touchdown for Tannehill.
Yeah.
Didn't waste any time. Quarterback sneak.
I mean, we got bailed out on that second drive in the red zone.
Jerome Boger with the assist.
Yeah, Jerome Boger with the assist. The first play was a shotgun pass to Brewer. Brewer was your eligible receiver, and you floated a ball to an offensive lineman. Like that right there let me know that we don't know what we're doing in goal line, the goal situations now without the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see this offense now without Henry. We hadn't really thought about what it would look like without him, and now we see. And you gotta give credit to Marcus Johnson. Like you said, he had 5 for 100 yards, a 2 for 48 swing, 4 for 26. And you mentioned it. This was the first time we saw the starting 5 offensive line together in a while.
Season. Yeah,
and they play pretty good. You see what they can do when they're all there, and they've all been together, for a while now, and they have a lot of good chemistry amongst that line and good communication. So 264 yards total offense for the Titans today. Tannehill, 19 to 27, 198 yards, a touchdown, 2 sacks, and a quarterback and a rushing touchdown. 66 yards for the team overall is for the run total. And so, here we are again. We got another tough matchup coming up against the Texans, another division foe. And so, 1 week at a time. But on the defensive side of the ball, 373 yards of total offense, 287 pass for Simeon, 86 rush, 1 turnover, 4 sacks. And we lose Bud again today. And he probably going to be maybe questionable in the next week or two with the abdominal strain. Jay Lou, talk to me about this defense, man, because Big Jeffrey came and he played today.
Man, Big Jeff was eating again. 2 sacks from him. I think Naquan got credit for 1 today, and Landry crossed the double-digit mark. I think those 2 today bring Big Jeff up to 8.5. 8.5 or so for the season. Again, I think the defense, man, they ran out of gas. They did enough in the beginning with the lead where they could hold on, but you were starting to see some of the depth take its toll on them. Again, my game ball on defense goes to Monty Rice. That the young kid had to play. I mean, he played 85-90% of the snaps because we're struggling at the inside linebacker spot, and I thought he played well. He tackled well. He had again, him and Jayon Brown. You could see that pass coverage wasn't the best for them. They were out of position sometime, but I think that happens. I'll chalk that up as being a part of. I like to say the Saints are just like the Rams. They do a lot of eye candy. So a lot of the stuff at the line of scrimmage, I'll chalk that up to that. But overall, I thought they played very well. And then just the D line, man, it's you see what we can do. I think the one thing that Bowen he got too confident in the 4-man rush and didn't blitz.
Yes.
And we give Jack Rabbit Norris a lot of grief, which he deserves most. How much of it do you think is scheme? And I know we don't want to talk about that word scheme, but this is a corner that we originally brought in because we wanted to be a man-to-man defense.
Yes.
He can't play zone worth nothing.
Can't.
Even the 2-point conversion that we got lucky on, he looked like he was out of position on that one too.
So all right. So yeah, to that point, and that's a great observation. And so on that touchdown pass, he was in man coverage and got toasted. He bit on the end route.
Oh man, he's just.
Dude was wide open.
That's why I'm glad to have Fulton back, because at least you got one side of the field you don't have to worry about. I think Molden played good today as well. You can continue to see him growing, and I thought the back end, Farley was in there a little bit. Matthias Farley played a little bit, and we were all talking when we talked throughout the week when we saw Cruikshank go down. Yeah. How would that look with some of the dime packages and all? And I didn't really see a big drop off from that standpoint. So again, I think the defense is it is what it is at this point. They're continuing to get better. They was just on the field a long time. The offense got to have some complimentary ball. But I thought they came up and made the plays when they needed to make the big plays.
Yeah, and G, before you go real quick, I just got a comment on here about Monty Rice. How do we feel about Monty Rice? I thought Monty Rice played a great game.
Yeah.
He really showed a lot of speed on the defense laterally. He got a good hit on Trevor Siemian, is almost there for a sack. It really lit him up, But G, tell me about your defensive side, sir.
Okay, I agree with everything that Jay Lou said. I thought the defensive line was doing a phenomenal job. Again, I agree with you. Shane Bowen stayed with the 4-man rush. When they got fatigued, you had to start blitzing it. And
Yes.
he waited way too late.
Way too long.
To start blitzing. And he didn't blitz really any of the linebackers. He basically blitzed from the court, from the side with Molden and everything. I'm going to push back on the inside linebackers. I did not think they played that well at all. I thought Monty Rice did okay, but you could really see the lack of overall playmaking ability without David Long Jr. being in there.
I agree. I agree on that.
Don't get me wrong. I think Jayon Brown is a great talent. I think he still hasn't recovered from all of his injuries. But really today, we were seeing some of the things we saw before. A lot of people not fitting the holes on runs, not making the good coverages, not getting depth on a lot of the inside passes and everything. I thought Jayon Brown was standing around with his feet in the mud too much. I think it was bad enough David Long Jr. was in there, and I never thought I'd say that this year, but they really missed Rashad Evans today too, as far as that defense was concerned. I thought the defensive line did a great job. Bud Dupree being out really hurts. I mean, because the bottom line was, let's be real about it. It's sort of like Julio Jones on the outside on the offense. Bud Dupree gives you another defender you got to account for, and he was playing great.
Did he get hurt? Like, did he play a series?
Yeah, he played a series. I think he came out with an ab strain.
Gotcha.
But he gives you that extra man that they got to account. The offensive line got to account for. That's what really helps that 4-man rush really go. And we just never got back to that. I think that's one of the reasons why the pass rush kind of faded a little bit more in the second half.
Right.
But corner wise, man, Jackson just got toasted all game long. I mean, it's once he got beat deep on that first play,
he was done.
He was done for the rest of the game.
Done. Yeah.
He was done for the rest of the game. He was playing scared for the most part. I thought Fulton played great. I thought Molden did a good job. I say this. I think we really missed. I think we missed Chris Shank. If nothing else, I think because what Chris Shank does in when they play nickel or when they play dime, he generally takes on the tight end. And that gives you a good cover safety for the tight end who can keep up with speed. What we're seeing right now is that the linebackers that were in there today, they couldn't keep up with speed on the tight end. And the crossing patterns were killing us all day long. They were just killing us all day long. So I think that, if we can get like I said earlier this week, when I was like, if we ever get this defense completely healthy, I think we got a monster.
Yeah,
I really do. I think we got a monster, but the question is going to be, will they ever be completely healthy? And I think once they are, I think we should be fine. But we got to play. We got to play good. But right now, I would say this. Also, the defense carried us today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Last 2 weeks.
Yeah, last 2 weeks, and they're going to carry us again next Sunday. Yeah, it's just the way it's going to be. Unless we establish a running game, the defense is going to be carrying us. Now, the good thing is Houston's not that great against the run, so you got an opportunity to get something established.
To get it started.
But you have to do something to give that defense a risk because we could not sustain drives today at all.
Right. I mean, I don't even think they had 200 yards of offense at halftime. I mean, if I look back at the stats. So, I mean, I agree with everything you guys were saying. It's going to be tough, especially if Bud is out. You had Cole come in, rushing the quarterback. I mean, I didn't even know who he was, as he came out there on the field. He made a big hit on that fumble. Yeah, until he caused that fumble. Right. Jayon Brown, he looked like he was just lost today. I don't know if he's out of shape, man. It might be he's out of shape because
that's what he looked. He looked like he was a little winded to me.
Yeah, he was getting toasted on the wheel routes by the running back, and leaving the tight end wide open, going across the middle. Jayon Brown, I think it was a 3rd and long. When we was talking about it up in the stands, and he let the receiver cross his face and then didn't keep running with him, and gave him a first down when we could have had a 3-and-out on that drive. So again, though, it's a win. We take it, and Chris Jackson needs to stop hanging around Janoris Jenkins because he played like him today.
Oh man,
man, yeah, he played worse than Janoris today, man. I'm sorry, he just did. It was
Right.
bad.
Yeah, we missed David Long. I agree, Deion and Taylor. You're right. We have to run the ball in the playoffs, and when we still got a few weeks to get this thing ironed out. Fortunately, the Ravens lost, and it gives us some breathing room. The Chargers lost today, and so we got a 2-game lead for that number 1 seed. We got to keep the pedal to the metal and continue to try to win that number 1 seed and get that extra week off. But anyway, as you look at the AFC South standings after week 9, the Titans are 8-2. The Colts are 5-5 with a win over the Jags today, 23-17. The Jags are 2-7 after that loss, and then the Texans 1-8 on the bye week. And so, gentlemen, we got the Texans coming in next week here at Nissan Stadium. Well, of course, we got to run the ball. Everybody knows that. But here we are with a team similar to the Jets. Another game where you just know. And I heard somebody say it when we was waiting in line today, G-Wick, to get on the elevator, that you just know that the Titans are going to lay down one, and this might be the one that they lay down coming in with the Texans. So talk to me, Jay, Lou, about what we got to do for these Texans coming in here.
I think at this point, I think Vrabel, to your point, maybe references the Jets. And then I think they talk about what's in front of them. It's an AFC game, division game, so you want to win those. But they got a real good shot at this number 1 seed. They do. And the way the playoffs are set up now, you kind of want that because you got a late bye December 5th. And then if you can turn around and get another bye a month later, the first week of the playoffs, I think that's something you shoot for. I mean, because again, we saw what the Buffalo Bills did again today to the Jets. The teams that are so much better than you. You're supposed to beat them down and get out of there.
That's right.
So that's what you're hoping they do with the Texans next week. Again, I think the unsung hero today we didn't talk about special team going to be big next week. That's that right. Win. Kudos. It finally felt good to be on the side of a team that it wasn't our kicking game that was screwing up. But
yes, extra points are huge.
To be fair, he was kicking into that gust, and I mean, I think the last punt that Brett Kern hit into the wind was probably one of his better ones too. And then of course, Fat Randy doing what Fat Randy does, just being right down the middle. So I think special teams are gonna have to play big. You're going to have to watch for the gadget plays and the we don't have nothing to lose mentality from the Texans, because I think that's how you can get yourself beat. But this is a game where I think the offense and defense both have to come out and start fast. So if we win the toss, go down and score. If we defer, if we go out and get a 3 and out. But I think both need to start fast because it's a team. If you can get up by 2 touchdowns quickly, you got the Texans to start looking towards vacation anyway. Right. So you want to get behind it again. Their defense is gonna come to play. Is it Lovie Smith, the D coordinator? He's got
Tampa 2.
Got them playing some defense. So I agree with what you said, G. With if this is a game where we can get the running game in a rhythm, then this would be the one to good. They're glad to not have to see Derrick Henry because he was owning them. So you hope that we can get that started. And again, you hope that we start to get a few players back this week too. I mean, the bye's coming up, but you want to try to again. We only got one NFC game left, if I'm not mistaken. So everything else is AFC. So you want to stack those AFC wins, and again, just make everything have to run through Nissan. So I think that's the mantra that Vrabel uses this week with that coaching staff is, we're playing for a number 1 seed at this point.
Yeah. Right. And I agree with you. Well, here's the reason why, even though I think he does reference the Jets, but he also references the fact that it's a division game.
Yeah.
And Vrabel, to his credit, he puts a lot of importance on division games. So again, this is like I said earlier, this would be a good team to really try to start and establish a rhythm in your running game and get the juices flowing. Mm-hmm. They got to understand, that if somebody has a hot hand, you keep them in, you let them keep running. Stop this. I mean, this is that old school running game that we had a few years back where you run a couple of times and then you take them out and you put somebody else. And I'm like, no, you got to, if you get a rhythm started, get it started, let them run the ball. I think pass-wise, guys are just going to start. We're having way too many drops. Way too many.
Yes. Oh, my God.
And guys, and A.J. Brown is one of the biggest culprits. He's going to have to raise his level of concentration and start making these catches like he's supposed to. Defensively, I hope we get David Long and Rashad Evans back. Mm-hmm. I think that really adds a lot of depth to the defense inside linebacker position. David Long, to me, has been the unsung hero as far as the defense is concerned. Simply, and I say unsung because no one expected him to be what he's doing. And he's actually the best inside linebacker we got.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he is a heat-seeking missile on running plays and on passing plays. So you just want to see him come back and play better and everything. So again, I think this is a good way to start. I think Vrabel will have them ready simply because it's a division game. He puts extra importance on division game, always has. I think what we may see if we get a win Sunday against the Texans, we may see a lot of people sit down against the Patriots.
That's a good observation. You know, and I'm sitting here looking at the depth chart for the Texans. Of course, Tyrod Taylor, the crafty vet he is, he can run, he can throw, and they've been getting Brandon Cooks going here the last few weeks. So that's gonna be a issue to have to deal with, especially when he lines up over Janoris Jenkins. So maybe Christian Fulton follows him around. But again, I had to disagree with the unsung hero on G. You know, Danico, without the presence of another defensive person. I understand what you're saying. But I'm gonna say without the presence of another person on that line of scrimmage that demands a double team. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons don't have the season he's having right now without that.
That's true.
And you know, and they're making it easy on the linebackers because now you've got two guys on that line up on the same side of the field 80% of the time that can penetrate the line of scrimmage. And you got Bud on the outside, you got Landry on the outside, man. It just makes it easy. And maybe it's because I'm a defensive lineman by heart, but it just makes it easy for those linebackers. You know, we do all the dirty work up front.
And they get the credit.
So it's all good, though. I love it. But yeah, so where I think we could take an advantage on the Texans is offensive line. Offensive line has been porous. You know, Deshaun Watson was one of the top quarterbacks for getting sacked every season. And so we've got to continue to eat up front. And, you know, hopefully Pop-Tart plays next week, give us a little bit more depth because, again, the defense was tired because the offense was not sustaining drives. You know, and the defense for the Texans is going to be ready. Cover 2, Tampa 2 is love is his thing, and he has these guys playing tough. Although the stats don't say it, they're going to get after it. This is a division game. It's a rival game. These guys, you know, the Titans and the Texans have a history going back since the Texans came into the league, and we had an issue over the jerseys and all this the throwback jersey. So a lot of stuff, you know, players may not be the same, but again, it's another tough division opponent. And I agree with you both. If the Titans win this one this weekend, I think that you see some guys not playing in the weeks coming up because, you know, they already set Julio Jones, which is pretty smart. If you think about it, he gets
a month
2
off.
weeks off, right? And he gets a bye week, then he comes back right in 4 weeks, and hopefully the hamstring is up and we're ready to rock and roll. But thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie on LG with J. Lou. Let's see. Sir. We'll get some comments in before, man, we get off of here. Let's see. Dion says we need to make a point that this is a division game, and it's like 2 games win or lose. We can't afford to lay down next week.
That's right.
You, man.
That's right.
Deontay Foreman would be hyped for the Texans game, given they drafted him as Ed McKinney as a 3rd rounder and they cut him 2 years later. I agree with you, man. Taylor says Tyrod Taylor is good for 2 interceptions. So as is, man. So he, you know, the article that I saw, they were talking about the Texans, they looking for him to bounce back because he had an uncharacteristic game. He threw 2 interceptions. He hadn't done that before. And so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard-nosed. David Johnson's back running the ball. Like I said, Brandon Cooks, Tyrod Taylor, Davis Mills. I mean, I guess Tyrod's going to start this week. And then, of course, the offense, like I said, it's not good. Laramie Tunsil's on IR, and I don't know if he's eligible to come back now this week after the bye. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a tough game. And because it's a division game, right? It's a rival game.
Yeah.
But fellas, I mean, appreciate y'all tonight. Appreciate y'all joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Check us out next week. We'll be back. Right here, man, live. Hopefully, we'll be talking about another dub, man. Who would have thought, man?
They just got to play better, man. That's the thing. Just play better, man. Come on.
Ed, I agree, man. We knew the hamstring was a problem last year. It just continues on with Julio Jones.
Yeah, and you know hamstrings are tricky anyway.
Man, the only thing that helps them is rest.
Is rest, and depends on the player. And he tweaked his hamstring again in practice this past week.
Right.
You know, so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, well, he won't be playing. I wasn't expecting them to put him on IR, but when they did that, I agree with you. I thought it was a smart move simply because he gets the bye week in the midst of all of that, so he can come back really refreshed and they got to worry about practicing.
Right.
But my thing really right now is we just got to get better, man, because the bottom line is this offense is going to kill us. The defense is only going to be able to do so much.
Right. And who would have thought we'd have been talking about how bad the offense is right now, Jay Lou? I
would have never guessed that. If you would have told us we were 8-2, I would have said, okay, yeah, that offense is number 3 in the league. But we said it all last year and said it during the offseason. We just needed the defense to be average.
That's it.
And they're playing a little bit better than average as far as pass rush, and that's right. And that's helped again, special. And I think the other sung hero of the team is special teams. Randy Bullock has solidified the kicking game.
Yeah,
I think they said he's 18 of 20 since he's been with the Titans.
Yeah,
as far as field goals hit, I mean you see his confidence building everywhere. I mean they're right down the middle. He's giving they're not to the side or anything, right down the middle. And again, that I thought a lot of that kick he made coming to that north end zone into that wind today. That was a big time kick because I'm telling you that wind was whipping down there on the field. So I would have never believed it. With the offense, but again, I think they've got to embrace being a passing team. I'm not saying go away from the identity, but you got to change it up. If you embrace that, I think we can see Tannehill get into a rhythm and get the rolling. We're not doing enough of the hurry up offense with Tannehill.
Right.
We saw that work with him a lot last year when we go no huddle and just let him, to your point, G Witt, make the play calls at the line of scrimmage. That's when he gets in a rhythm. So I think you don't be surprised you see that next week. We come out and we hit 5, 6, 7 short passes and whatnot to get him in a rhythm and get a hurry up going to get this offense moving.
Yeah, stop huddling so much.
Right. Yeah. Deon, how can we forget Brett Kern, man? He's the best punter in the NFL for a reason. You saw today kicking into the wind. He was still dropping them on the sideline, nullifying the returns. And so you can't say enough. And you can't forget. You can't forget the long snapper. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler for a reason. I can't think of his name. I'm gonna get it in just a second. It's Cox,
Cox,
Mr. Cox, man. You can't say enough about that guy because this year, last year. Think about what last year. How many issues we had? We had a kicker that couldn't make a kick. Had bad low snaps, high snaps. And Morgan Cox, man. You can't say enough. All 3 of the guys for special teams are really doing an excellent job. And coverage was pretty decent today too.
Coverage was decent. I thought we would have missed Cruikshank for down the field coverage, and I think Kern did an excellent job kicking it to the sidelines. And then I also think it was Marcus Johnson. I thought he did a good job in the return game on kickoffs, and I thought Chester Rogers did pretty well on punt coverage again. Because again, a lot of the kicks we were getting, I don't know how it came across on the TV, but seeing them kicking to the wind, that kickoff that almost was a fumble because it dropped so short, that ball hung up so long, and I thought he just made a good play on that. So kudos to special teams because I thought all phases of special teams played pretty well today.
Yeah.
Gorilla 10 says, please, G, build on the horrible play calling on offense. so we kind of hit that earlier, Gorilla. We all said that Todd Downing didn't do a good job of executing, even though we knew the run game was stalling, he should have came out more with a quicker passing game. Line up in shotgun on goal-to-goal situations is not a good idea at all. I don't care who you are as far as your offense goes. Going, the ball on the 3-yard line, you got your quarterback in shotgun. He's standing about the 7-yard line. So you're putting yourself at a 4-yard disadvantage already. So talked about that. Talked about him not moving the pocket, and just talked about the running backs missing some opportunities that we thought were left out on the field. Offensive line actually blocked great today, minus the 2 sacks. So it is what it is. He's got to get better. The defense has got to get better. We got to get more depth. We got to get people back healthy. And I agree with you both. I believe once we get healthy on both sides of the ball, this team is going to be hard to beat. I mean, it's already, so we're already winning right now without everybody, everybody in the fold. So just imagine we get Bud back, we get Julio back, we get Harold Lynch and those guys, get them clicking because Jeffrey Simmons is still dealing with the ankle injury. You saw him limping off some today. And and if Derrick Henry comes back in the playoffs, that's a big if because we don't know if that's going to happen. But just think about it. We get all these guys healthy, man. It's
Well,
gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
I'm gonna say this as far as Derrick Henry is concerned. The key for that is that look for news on him in December.
Right. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right.
Because
Yeah.
when I added it up,
Mhm.
10 weeks is the end of the season,
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
right before we go into playoffs.
Right.
So
Another reason that number 1 seed is that important.
absolutely.
Because then you get 2 more weeks.
Yes.
2 more weeks. So
Yeah.
I agree with you, G. If we start hearing him talking about he's back doing some light jogging,
And yep.
Yep. So look, that's what we. As far as Derrick Henry is concerned, December is our key. What's he doing in December?
Yep.
See in the
Because they
sandbox.
said 6 to 10 weeks.
Right.
They said 6 to 10 weeks. 10 weeks is the last game of the season.
Yeah.
So if he's doing any kind of working out, foot wise, running the sandbox, cutting or whatever, if we get that number 1 seed, J. Lou, it might be on. It might be on because you're gonna give him an extra week of practice.
Yep.
Right. So again, I appreciate it, man. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Halftime adjustments. Eddie Arnell, J. Luke, G. Witt. We are
Sir.
out of here.
Tighten
Check
up,
us out
baby.
next weekend, man. After the Texans game. For another dub, 9-2. We out of here, man. Peace.
Peace.